doing a segment called Self-Help for Adulting when you've watched too much news, where people can learn how to adult in modern times. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short story as much as I enjoyed writing it. Here we go. In a kingdom called Bellweather, the people no longer spoke to each other directly. Instead, they shouted into magical mirrors. The mirrors were everywhere, hanging in kitchens, marketplaces, schools, even bathrooms, for reasons no one fully understood. Whatever a person yelled into the mirror was instantly repeated to thousands of others. Over time, the mirrors became smarter. If someone shouted angrily, the mirror rewarded them with glowing hearts and applause noises. If someone shouted thoughtfully, the mirror would yawn and show them a dancing goat instead. Naturally, the kingdom adapted. Soon, every conversation sounded like a battle cry. The bakers are ruining the kingdom. Oh, the candle makers are. People who put raisins in bread should be investigated. Nobody knew what was true anymore, but everyone was furious. The kingdom split into two rival camps. The mountain owls believed the kingdom's problems came from too much change. The river foxes believed the problems came from not enough change. Neither side could explain their ideas very well without eventually using the phrase, and another thing. At first, King Adler tried to calm everyone. Perhaps, he suggested gently, we should listen to each other. The mirrors responded by making his ears look large. People laughed for 3 weeks straight. Eventually, the king gave up and he hired consultants. The consultants recommended that they create a committee for national harmony, which held meetings about creating future meetings to discuss the possibility of harmony-related frameworks. Nothing improved. No one could agree. One day, during the annual Bellweather Harvest Festival, the mirrors suddenly stopped working. No glowing hearts, no applause sounds, no angry comment scrolls, just silence. Panic spread immediately. People wandered the streets, unsure how to function without strangers validating their outrage. A man stood up in the town square yelling, I have a very strong opinion about soup. No one reacted, so he quietly went home. At first, the kingdom felt awkward. Without the mirrors, people had to speak face to face. They noticed strange things. The mountain owls learned the river foxes also worried about their children. The river foxes learned the mountain owls were not, in fact, part of a secret lizard empire. The bakers discovered the candle makers were actually quite funny after 2 beers. Most shocking of all, people realized their neighbors sounded less extreme in person than in the mirrors. Days later, the royal engineers discovered the mirrors had not broken at all. They had merely overheated from excessive rage. The king gathered the kingdom and announced, "The mirrors shall return tomorrow." Hush fell over the crowd. Nobody cheered. That evening, people lingered in the streets, talking beneath lanterns instead of staring into glowing glass. Children played tag. Old rivals shared soup recipes. And yes, even the soup guy found companionship. The next morning, the mirrors flickered back to life. But something had changed. People still used them, of course, because humans are deeply committed to bad habits. But now, whenever arguments grew too fierce, someone would eventually say, "Maybe we should talk about this in person, away from the mirrors." And little by little, Bellweather became less interested in winning and more interested in understanding. The kingdom never became perfect, but it became quieter, kinder, harder to manipulate, and the mirrors hated that. So the adulting lesson here is that the loudest protesters are not always the wisest. A society begins to heal the moment people remember that neighbors are human beings first and not performers on screen. Thank you.